Hello, good morning. I am enjoying getting some morning light in my eyes. I'm currently drinking a decaf coffee. I put a little bit of Paleo Valley bone broth. This is the chocolate flavored. It's sweetened with monk fruit. I have some more collagen, creatine, a drop of iodine, and butter in here. It's delicious, but that is not what this video is about. I wanted to just share with you what I am observing um, about ketones. And I've been shooting for a high ketone range in the morning with glucose in like the upper 70s, low 80s. And I had been getting my fat to protein ratio, and for me, that is looking like over 200 grams of fat a day, and trying to keep my protein below 100. And I've been steadily doing that, and or consistently doing that, and my ketones have been like in the twos, like if this is fasted in the morning. So glucose in the upper 70s, low 80s, and ketones in the low to mid twos. And it's been great. Then on Sunday, I got injured. So my last video, check that out, and just sort of my lessons that I've learned from this experience. But I was walking at the pool, and my foot dropped down into a uncovered filter hole. It was an unfortunate situation. My foot's injured, not broken. I've had that verified, but the tendons are really sprained. I don't know. Bruising's getting pretty gnarly. But honestly, it's been healing pretty quickly, and I think a lot of that has to do with my way of eating, which is wonderful. But I wanted to share that what I've observed in the last few days with my glucose and my ketones. So this is like nothing has changed about my diet. And the menu that I've had lately, I've just been really consistent. But my blood sugar, like yesterday morning, I woke up and my blood sugar was 90, and then I actually tested it again about 15 minutes later, because I had actually only had one glucose strip left, no ketone strip, and I was waiting for my new strips to come get delivered through Amazon. So I took my glucose, it was 90, and literally like 15 minutes later, my strips got dropped off. So I did another reading, and at that point, my glucose was 100. It had been going up because I had been walking around, hobbling around a bit in those 15 minutes. And my ketones that morning were 1.4, which is, there's still, you might say, oh, that's a decent ketone reading, but with a glucose that high, it's like, even if you have ketones floating around, your body's stressed and relying on gluconeogenesis and making glucose and using glucose. So at that point, it's like, yeah, you technically have ketones, but are you really in ketosis? Like, is your body really utilizing the ketones for energy at that point? Probably not. So that was an interesting observation. This morning, my ketones or my glucose was 81. So we're getting back to, lower release of that, which is good, or creation of that. And then but my ketones were still only 1.1, and that's after eating. I actually very intentionally tried to have a much higher fat day and backing off of my protein. So my protein was probably under 90 yesterday, and was really bumping up the fat, and that's still where my ketones were at. So I did yesterday try to go to the gym. I was hobbling around, mostly worked upper body, and some of like the lower body that I did was more like the weight was driven through my heels and not so much the ball of my foot. So I was trying to be careful, but I just was having a hard time staying away from the gym. So I tried to go and do what I could. And then I was on my feet quite a bit more. I had a bit more of like need to just like get stuff done around the house. My husband's been out of town, so it's like stuff hasn't been put away, and it's just like was starting to really drive me crazy. And I was like able to put a little more weight on it yesterday, so I felt better about walking around. So I, had quite a bit more activity. I had probably 9,000 steps yesterday. So, there was probably, I wasn't really measuring my blood sugar throughout the day, but I would imagine that I was probably, making a bit more glucose yesterday with being on my feet. And so even though it was a bit more steady this morning, the ketones were still showing, revealing that my body wasn't producing quite as much. So, yeah, so just an interesting observation I wanted to share. So I, can keep you updated on that. Let me know what you think of it. But I just wanted to like share this with you that it's evidence that it's not just the diet, right? If you are someone, like I'm talking, the ketones, like I'm clearly making ketones, like it's not, that's not the issue. But if you are a person who is noticing that your blood sugar isn't staying low, you're having a hard time making ketones, and you are eating, say, carnivore, even keto, that, it's well, looking at nutrition first is always a good thing. But we have to be paying attention to our stress. We have to be taking that into consideration. If we're not sleeping well, I've been waking up a little bit more, maybe because of my foot too. Like I'm trying to keep it propped up, positioned, whatever. So that's definitely a factor as well. So these things have to be taken into consideration. And our daily stress, and typically, movement's a good thing, especially walking to relieve stress. I've noticed it's been interesting for me. It's like my body is used to moving, and I've really gained a lot of insight into how much I really rely on and to get the benefits from getting outside, getting fresh air, getting in the sun, and a lot of times and moving my body. And so a lot of the way that I really get a lot of my sunshine every day is getting out and walking. So I'm getting like double whammy there with the sunshine and the gentle movement. And so I actually intentionally sat out in the sun the day before yesterday, because like I really couldn't move, and I was like in the house, and it was, I was feeling cooped up, and it was like, well, I can't walk, but I still, I need to get my daily sunlight. And I felt energy from that, sitting in the sun for 20 minutes. I was like, okay, I can do stuff. Like it was this crazy, like how it was crazy how much it recharged my battery, being able to just sit in the sun. But I really had to like intentionally go out and do it, because so often that's just built in when I'm getting my movement in and my walking every day. So again, just a couple days of like not getting out as much and not moving as much. Yesterday I was like, I've had it. I've got to, lift some weights. And I did go for a walk and at least get, a 20-minute walk with some sunshine in, and might have pushed myself a little too far because my ketones were showing it this morning. But yeah, feeling better every day. So it's all good. But yeah, interesting with the ketones. So I'll keep you updated to let you know as my foot's healing and see if these ketones come back up again. But like I said, I haven't changed anything about my nutrition to be affecting those numbers at all. So yeah, if you're wanting to follow along on my journey, all my things, the educational content that I share, nervous system regulation, all that good stuff, then go ahead and like this and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you around. Okay, till next time.